The voice is different.
It is.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to sharing. And okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the Solidarity Lowell August meeting. And please be advised that this is being recorded. So just some quick guidelines. It will be put on YouTube as well. And by staying in the meeting, you consent to being recorded and being on YouTube. To speak, please use the raise hand function. There's a little graphic there so you can see where to find it. Or you can type a star into the chat and wait to be called on. Our stacker today is Ryan Hammond. Captions are available. Please step up and step back. So if you are not talking a lot, we'd like you to step up and we want to hear from you. We want to hear everybody's opinions. And then step back. If you find that you're talking a lot, please step back and make room for others. Assume positive intentions. And if your words do cause hurt, whoever has been hurt can say out.
Where we sign in?
Yes. And be accountable. So the person who did the hurt can say oops, and they can discuss if needed. And please speak slowly. Somehow I'm actually doing that today. Usually I'm not good at that. All right, so just our quick agenda. Welcome and introductions now. Then we'll talk about Solidarity Lowell news and committee updates. At 5:50, we'll do allied organizations updates. So if you're here to promote another group or event, please do so then. And at 6 o'clock, we'll have our featured speaker, Etel Haxhiaj.
Haxhiaj. You got it.
Okay, good. I tried to remember it, but it's still new in my head. Okay, from Working Families Party. And then at 6:55, we will wrap up. So first we'll start with our land acknowledgement. Here in Lowell, we stand on the land of the following local nations: the Wabanaki Dawnland Confederacy, the Pentucket, the Pawtucket, Agawam, Pennacook, and Wamasitt. And that's from nativeland.ca. And you can read our full statement at bit.ly/sl/land or -land.
Oh, that's a bunch.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with Solidarity Lowell, we are a volunteer group of community members defending human rights, dignity, and justice in Greater Lowell. We are a chapter of Progressive Mass and a Merrimack Valley Project affiliate. And the coordinating committee is your elected team running the meetings, organizing events, disseminating relevant news, and sharing calls to action. Our elections were held in April, but please contact us if you are interested in joining. Does anyone have any questions? I think we're all familiar. Okay, so we'll just do introductions. So please give your name, your pronouns, where you live, and you receive a surprise dinner. What do you want it to be, and who do you want it to be from? Amy.
Okay. Hello. Amy Baranowski, she, her, hers. I live in the Acre, and watch what I came up with for this one. Surprise dinner that I would love would be tasty dumplings from my husband.
Ron.
My name is Ron Peachman. My pronouns are him. And my grandmother passed away a number of years ago, but she made Native American dishes that I have not been able to get ever since. So there's a number of things that are made traditionally that I'd love to.
Carolyn.
Caroline Snow, she, her, hers. I live in Centerville, District 4. And any food that I can actually eat and anybody I like.
Caroline has a lot of stuff.
Like you, when you can feed me, I will eat.
I'm very good at these questions.
That's a fantastic answer.
Hello everyone, my name is Ivan Siha. I live in Bike Central. I'm come to the food. I will see where like Caroline. I eat anything someone give me.
Joe.
Joseph Boyle, he, him. I live in the Highlands here in Lowell. My answer is a lot like Ron's. I would love to be surprised by one of my mom's old Italian recipes, or pasta vazzola, or even just her meatballs and sauce from scratch. She obviously hasn't made big did dinners for us in years, and my childhood favorites that are with Davy.
Bernadette.
I'm Bernadette Scholl. I live in the Acre. She, her, and I think my favorite dinner that I don't have to pay for would be steak. With a nice side of roasted potatoes and then a huge green salad. Maybe without lettuce.
These days.
Anyway.
Ryan.
My name is Ryan Hammond. I live in the Acre. My pronouns are he, him. If we have to pay for it, then Amy could get me takeout from Origin Thai. If we're not paying for it, then I would love 3 cheese macaroni with Ritz cracker crumbles. Also,
Oh.
I feel like we're psyched on watching that.
Hey, Paul. We're just introducing ourselves.
Over here.
name tags.
Oh, I don't know.
No,
We all know each other.
All right, so now our online friends.
Oh, yes. Well, I was going to have Paul go
Oh,
first.
okay.
Yeah. So your name, your pronouns, where you live, and you receive a surprise dinner. What do you want it to be, and who do you want it to be from?
Surprise dinner. My name is Paul Gadet. He, him, and I live in the Highlands of Lowell. Surprise dinner. I guess I would want it to be something like arroz con pollo, red chicken with rice, from some parishioner or native cooker, and not from a restaurant.
Okay. We'll go to our online folks. Etel.
Hey everybody, Etel Haxhiaj, she, her. I live in Worcester, and I have a big crush on Mayor Mamdani, so I would love to receive a dinner from him, and honestly, he can bring me whatever he wants.
Fabulous. Chris.
Okay, Chris Afferman, downtown Lowell, she, her, hers. Surprise dinner would have to be sushi, a real big sushi with all the trimmings and variations. And I don't really care who sends me that, long as I get it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. So I am Marissa DuPont, she, her, hers. I live in South Lowell. And I don't know. I think I'm just gonna steal Amy's and go tasty dumplings from whoever wants to bring it to me. That's fine. Maybe like 2 orders of the dumplings, so it's extra special. Okay, so start off with some victories, some happy news. Llama has organized a community fridge at the Hive Market, and all are welcome to donate and to take food as needed during when the Hive Market is open. On August 10th, the court ordered the Markley Group, our lovely data center, to pause any expansion of their facilities. The Mass Senate adopted 2 progressive mass priority bills, Raise the Age and Clean Slate, and they also adopted and redrafted Protecting Mass's ability to invest and tenant opportunity to purchase. New York becomes the first state to impose a data center moratorium, jealous of them. And Working Families Party endorsed candidates, swept the Michigan elections.
Wow.
The GOP backed down from voter suppression efforts in Texas after voter outrage. And we go on slide 2. Native American schools had the highest graduation rates in our nation's history. Wow. Yes. The governor of North Carolina vetoed sweeping voter restrictions. A federal judge ruled to bar a policy allowing ICE agents broad discretion to conduct arrests at courthouses. And the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship, reaffirming the long-held principle that the Constitution guarantees that nearly all children born on U.S. soil are citizens. So who else has victories that they would like to share?
On. So all over the country, federal judges are beginning to look at ICE and other federal agencies and going, so you have made these claims, please submit documentation to back up the charges you're making. And over and over and over again, ICE and other kinds of agencies can't. And so the charges either get forcibly thrown out by the judge or get withdrawn by the agency who placed them.
Caroline?
I wanted to add on the first slide about the fridge at Hive. There is a fridge and a freezer. So if you go, it has been recommended that if you go and the fridge is full, put whatever can be frozen into the freezer to just make sure that nothing goes bad. But like you can bring fresh fruit, and there is a list of information online about like what is recommended and what is most needed, and that is updated based on what Llama is hearing from the community.
Monaghan?
Just to follow up to that, I want to give a round of applause. Llama worked on this for the better part of a year to get the freezers and the refrigerators. This was a lot of concentrated effort by a lot of activists.
Where is Hive exactly?
Page Street.
I think on page 3.
Yeah,
It's around.
There's two
You know-
entrances, one on Merrimack, one on
You can go from Merrimack Valley to there, and but if you go page 3, you open the door, it close one.
Okay.
Yes, you're right. It's close.
Hive Market is our sort of new version of Mill Number 5, which was a wonderful place where we had many stores, and many of them have moved to the Hive, which is great.
So the schedule of time can open every day or
I think it's
Wednesday
Wednesday
through
through Sunday. It's like 10 to 8 or something. Yeah. But you can look online. Any other pictures?
Did we talk about the People's Agenda panel?
Yes, we have.
It's gonna be
Last Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'll go into that
Two hundred
further.
and fifty
later.
people showed up.
Yep. Very excited.
They attended, were reported, and prioritized the questions that the people had lifted up on housing, immigration, and healthcare.
Yep. And there were candidates from all over the Merrimack Valley, which was very exciting. Yeah, we had state rep candidates, state senate candidates, and even congressional candidates. But it wasn't the one we wanted, but that's okay.
And U.S. Senate candidates.
Yes, and U.S. Senate. Yes. Yeah, it was a fantastic event, and yeah, more will be coming from the People's Agenda, but that is just the beginning. Okay. So, Amy, do you want to do this, or do you want me to?
Oh, sorry. Trying to take notes here.
I know.
Taking off glasses. Yeah, so an update on Lowell Together. That's the political endorsement arm of our group. We are still continuing our anti-flock camera campaign. I think since we last met as a group, we've met with two more. Yeah. Well, okay, one or two more city councilors.
Yeah.
They're continuing to work things out and talk about that amongst themselves. So that's still moving forward. I think our next step there is possibly going to be to try and reach out to, shall we say, less friendly councilors and see what they feel. So that's in progress. There's still more there. We are still working on some beneficial partnerships through working family parties and through platform and action. And so obviously, or at least I think obvious to everybody here, the primary is coming up very soon, a little over a week. All of our endorsed candidates need volunteers for just about everything. And a reminder listed there, our endorsed candidates are Marina Betts, Dr. Kamini Iyer, Rep. Tara Hong, Connor Murray, and Senator Vanna Howard. I will say, since time and people power is a little limited, the last two have no opponents in the primary. So maybe put them lower on the list and spend your time with the other ones if you could, if you have free time. And then just some list of upcoming events there. We have a phone bank for Dr. Kamini Iyer on this Tuesday from 6 to 8 on Zoom. I would say you'll put the link in the newsletter.
Yes.
Is that? Yeah.
It will be in the news.
Okay, so yeah, for all the links to the Zoom to get you started, look for the newsletter that should be coming out in 2 days.
Tuesday-ish. Yep.
Tuesday-ish. Yes. And then on Friday, we have our big Demonstrate, Dine, and Discuss standout for all of these candidates. So that's this Friday. And from 6 to 7, we'll be at the Ladin Whitney Monument. That's the one downtown in front of City Hall. And so, yes, that'll be for all the candidates I mentioned above. If you happen to have a sign that you could bring, please bring it. Otherwise, we'll have the campaigns bring their own signs. And then after we do that, we will adjourn to Laos Thai Kitchen, which is a block or so away, same street, where we will dine and discuss the politics of the day. And our next Lowell Together meeting will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And if you're not already on that email list, email contact@solidaritylowell.com and we will add.
Thank you, Amy.
Yep.
Oh, and it's still you.
Again, yes. Okay, and we have Mill City Messaging. That's our postcard writing that we do with Invisible Lowell. It's kind of a shared effort because while we try and prioritize local and state level efforts, there aren't always one. So we do some national issues and some national campaigns as well. And so, before I get to our next event, I did just want to say thank you. We've recently done some postcard writing for Liberating Events and for Dr. Rainey Iyer, and we cranked out a bunch of them and got them in the mail. So thank you to everybody that came and participated in that. And it is always the second Thursday of the month. So our next one will be September 10th, 6 to 10, 8. We'll be staying there until 10, 6 to 8 p.m. at Lala Books. They would hate that.
They will.
We kept
They
them
really
there until, which is right downtown, 189 Martin Street. And like I said, we don't have any campaigns this month. So we're going to be going back to a national one. That's the Activate America, where we're encouraging voters in a few different states that, sorry, I'm not remembering off the top of my head, to contribute into. So we'd love to see you there. Who can attend?
Yes, anyone who could be there.
Everybody.
Everybody. We're all going.
Thanks.
Yeah, and if you want to get involved, we have questions.
Oh, yes.
Email amy@solidaritylowell.com.
Yes.
Okay, and this slide. Our Unpacking Whiteness dialogue group was originally going to start in June, but we were supposed to have 4 people and only 2 were responding. So we're going to wait until September in the hopes that more folks will be interested. So if you are interested, please sign up. What it is a dialogue group where we explore racial biases, white supremacy, white privilege, explicit and implicit bias, systemic racism, and microaggressions. And these are supportive, structured dialogues. It's a very beneficial environment, you'll find. It's 5 sessions, 1 a week. It's capped at 10 people. I've never had that many. That would be a lot. It's usually like closer to 5. And like I said, starting in mid-September. And then after you attend the dialogue group, attendees are invited to the ongoing group where we meet once a month and alternate between discussing a book or watching a film, both of which should be related to race in some way. Or racism. And you can sign up at bit.ly/UW-sign-up or email me, Rosa at solidaritylowell.com. We really hope to get a good group. So if you've been considering this, now is the time to do it. Okay, Ryan.
Demonstrate, dine, and discuss. Demonstrate, dine, and discuss. We have our next meeting coming up Friday, August 28th at 6 p.m. We will be at the Ladd and Whitney Monument. That is the island across the street from City Hall, the traffic island. We will be supporting Lowell Together endorsed primary candidates. Then at 7 p.m., we will move to Laos Thai Kitchen, as earlier described by Amy. If you want to make signs or if you want to help, please email me, ryan@solidaritylowell.com. That's this coming Friday, August 28th at 6 p.m.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Okay, and then our usual plug for connecting with other Lowell activists on our Lowell Activist Unite Discord space. This is a new community space for Greater Lowell. Discord, if you're not familiar, it's a free text, voice, and video application, very similar to Slack if you've used that. And it's a way for activists to know what's going on without relying on the whims of social media algorithms. We have channels for topics of increasing concern, events, politics, pet photos, and we are adding channels as needed for each group and organization by request, or if there's something you think is missing, just let us know. And you can join as an individual or as the leader of a group if your whole group doesn't want to join. Either way is fine, but we just want to have all of our voices in one place so we can not step on each other's toes and we can work together to, you know, overthrow the patriarchy or whatever. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? No. Okay. I think we're good. I think most of you are already on it, but there is a link there if you want to join. Also, this is new. As of just before Folk Fest, we have merch. So you can check out our brand new bonfire store for Solidarity Lowell and Lowell together. We have t-shirts and hoodies and hats now, I think, too. And those include our special Pride version of our logo. And you can visit bonfire.com/store/solidarity-lowell/ if you want to check those out. And there's a whole bunch of different types of shirts. Like these are just examples, obviously, but all kinds of stuff. Okay. I don't know if I should read all of these, but there are a lot of events coming up in the next week or two. So this is just the canvassing. So August 29th and 30th for Lorena Betts, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Top Donut, 1 to 4 at Zusty's Pizza, and then on Sunday noon to 2 at Top Donut and 3 to 5 at Zusty's Pizza. There's a canvases for Tara Hong, August 25th, 26th, and 27th. They start at 5:30 at Monivar Insurance, and August 29th at 10:30 a.m. at Monivar, and August 30th at 10:30 a.m. at Monivar. Canvases for Harini Ayer are August 28th, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Central Plaza parking lot, 55 Church Street. August 29th, 9:30 to noon, and 5 to 8, again at the Central Plaza parking lot. And August 30th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 5 to 8 p.m. at the Central Plaza parking lot. And then we have phone banks. So, oh my God. Phone banks for Lorena Betts, August 26th, August 31st rather, and September 1st, 6 to 8 p.m. and 4 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. Phone bank for Tara Hong, August 25th, 26th, 27th, 5:30 p.m. at Monivar Insurance. Or you can do it online. You just need to email Mitch, mitch.pollen@gmail.com. There is a Lowell Together phone bank for Dr. Harini Ayer that Amy mentioned, Tuesday, the 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. And then we have standouts. Standout for Lorena Betts, August 28th, 8 to 9 p.m. at Vinyl Square. And then August 31st, 8 to 9 p.m. at McDonald's. And our DDD standout that Brian and Amy mentioned, I'm just going to skip because we all know when that is and we're all going. And then primary election day is obviously the 1st from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Don't forget to vote if you haven't already. And you can sign up to hold signs at bit.ly/LT-standouts. That will be in the newsletter as well. All these folks need help with standouts all day on the 1st. Any questions? I know I went through that pretty quickly. Okay. I think we all know the deal with most of those, though. Okay.
It'll be in the newsletter.
It will be in the newsletter. The newsletter will have all
back up, please, on the standouts.
Yes.
At McDonald's.
Standout at McDonald's.
So
one
August
bar.
31st, 8 to 9.
8 to 9.
And Monday, 8 to 9. Okay.
August 31st, yes.
In the breakfast crowd.
Yes, indeed. Did you need any others?
No, that's it.
Okay.
And that's for whom?
That's for Lorena.
Lorena.
Yeah. Okay, so we just leave this in here as a reminder to everybody. So please don't forget, if you see ICE in your community or any unidentified suspicious activity, or if you've witnessed or had personal contact with any of the above, please call the Loose hotline. Please save the number in your phone. It is 617-370-5023. I think most of us have it in our phone at this point, but it's just a reminder to keep it in your mind. Hotline operates 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can visit lucymass.org. Okay, allied group updates. So this is any important information and upcoming events from other groups that you're involved in. Caroline.
So I have a couple of group updates that sort of fit together. So Merrimack Valley Project, as we spoke about earlier, did the People's Agenda Assembly. And that was 3 months of really, really dedicated hard work. And that is for the upcoming primary. There may be another one more towards the November elections. So that would be the middle of October. If you're interested in being part of that, let me know. I am a board person for Merrimack Valley. I'm the Lowell chapter chair. The other One is that Lowell chapter itself is doing housing work. So we are tabling in support of creating a tenants ordinance to be given to everyone at the time of move-in and the time of the start of evictions. It's non-binding, but again, it's more of the information part. And we're collecting commitment cards because the organizers of MVP are going to actually physically bring cards to the city council meeting. And so that's that one. Then Merrimack Valley Project and a bunch of other groups are part of Lowell Votes. And that is nonpartisan. And they held their forum on Wednesday, and it was very, very successful. We had candidates across the 16th, 17th, and 18th who chose to show up, and everybody was respectful in the audience, and that was wonderful. And so we, again, will have another one towards middle of October for the rest of the candidates that are not involved in the primary. Again, reach out to me if you're interested in that. And then the second week of September, so the week that ends with the 10th and the 11th, that is voter registration week. So Lowell Votes is doing something unique. They're taking National Voter Day, which is Tuesday, because it mimics the same day that the primaries and the regular elections are held. And we decided a couple of years ago, hey, why don't we make that a whole week? Part of the reasoning is that Lowell and Massachusetts has this really, 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 really awesome thing called pre-registration. If you are 16 and a half years old, you can pre-register. And then magically when you turn 18 on your birthday, you will be enrolled. It's very, very awesome. And so that's mostly what we focus on that week, is getting our college students registered in the appropriate places and our high schoolers registered or pre-registered. So those are the big things that are coming up. And then also that same weekend, the RISE Coalition, which is Refugees, Immigrants, Support and Empowerment, is encouraging everyone to attend the Multicultural Festival on Saturday. Very, very exciting. It is a huge festival. It kind of, because it's towards the end of the summer festival season, it doesn't always get as much publicity. So we're really focusing on supporting that, supporting Lavinia. Also, if you are an allied group and you have a budget, because there is a rate, you can get a table. And if you are, or you or your organization is struggling with paying for the table, reach out to me because my congregation is able to sponsor some of those tables. So that's it.
Thank you.
And that'll all be in the newspaper. I mean, the newsletter.
Yeah.
Want to give a shout out to Caroline
Yeah.
for being a leader at the People's Agenda.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
She helped
Thank you.
direct questions at the candidates.
And she
Did a
gave
great job.
testimony. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
I want to say a little more word about the tenants'
Yep.
rights ordinance that we're trying to get past at City Hall. The tentative date is September 15th, Tuesday night.
Perfect. Perfect.
And we're well past 350
Yeah.
postcards by now. Our goal is 500. We think we're going to hit that. There'll be like a moving picket line outside City Hall prior to walking in and hopefully filling the chamber when the ordinance is presented.
And I will also say that all city council meetings are hybrid. So you can fill the chamber by sitting in your living room on Zoom as well.
Yes.
So full accessibility.
Ron.
One clarification about that. If you want to speak at any of these things, you have to have called the city clerk's office
Mr. Geary,
before 3:30 in the afternoon, if I remember correctly.
It's 4, I think. But
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was
you're safer at 3:30.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And unlike me, please remember to tell them if you're going to be in person or on Zoom, because
Yeah.
I inevitably forget that part.
Yeah. All right. Any other updates from other groups?
So Ron and I were both at the MCAN assembly statewide this week in Worcester. We called together leaders around immigration and flock camera controversy. So the upshot of it was after wonderful presentations by ACLU on flock and on from the Haitian clergy, talked about getting the Protect Act passed, but it's so limited that they're engaging two campaigns essentially and activists from across the state to come up with a strategy campaign for the immigration campaign and the flock campaign. So there'll be more about that as we hear. MCAN is one of our parent organizations of MVP. The immigration question, they decided to pivot away from the State House, thinking that we've got Maura Healey on our support and the legislature is doing its thing, but it's kind of a moot point at this point because ICE can still do whatever it wants. So they're pivoting to a corporate campaign, and you'll hear more about it, is trying to engage major corporations who are relying on Haitian workers, especially. And that could be TJ Maxx or Marriott or Walmart or nursing homes and all of these, and trying to get corporations to look for a solution to keep all the current workers here, because they can testify that those jobs go unwanted by most people. So go ahead.
Just to make sure that we're really clear, this is a tactical move by MCAN. We all understand that as long as we currently have the kind of legislation and legislators in place, we're not going to be able to make serious progress that really matters. We've got to change the complexion of government in order to get things like TSP put back onto, TPS back in place. But understand that we can't do that until probably 2028, realistically speaking. Local level, we may have a few things, but at the national level, we've got a lot of house cleaning before we're going to have to get friendly legislators. So this is the, okay, how do we damage control? What's the Band-Aid look like? What can we do to keep the unpleasant time as least unpleasant as possible? Please do not think they're giving up on their legislative get better people elected agenda, because that's a long-term thing. That,
it's a shift to an economic campaign, essentially. And I don't know whether this strategy team is going to come up with, one corporation that they single out, or maybe an economic boycott or something like that. But I think the strategy is to start the conversation with a lot of these corporations. There were like 12 on the screen.
Yeah, and they're all big ones. And the 6 largest of them are all people that I know for certain. Your first day of work, when they're giving your packet to welcome you as a full-time employee, they give you a SNAP application.
Because your wages.
And so, we've got a very, very basic thing that we could advocate for that would help alleviate an enormous number of problems if they were actually being paid what they're worth in a fair wage, right? And these guys are getting billions of dollars a year.
Taxpayers are subsidizing their low wages.
Yeah, Walmart gets $9 billion a year in taxpayer money to subsidize SNAP. It's crazy.
So ideally, I think they're hoping that if one of these corporations is enlightened enough to see the wisdom of the campaign, we can point to them as a model that others could come in under the umbrella. Conversely, if nobody steps up, I think they're going to maybe target one for like economic boycotts and letter writing campaign. So.
The thing which way and which strategy we try to find to get all the corporation to get involved. More of them they just quiet. They're not kind of say anything.
Right.
Yeah. And this can work. Citibank was really, really a major funder of ICE. Yeah. And because of what the activists did, Citibank has separated itself financially from backing ICE. So it
all of those credit card accounts and bank accounts and investment.
Yeah. Yes. Citizens Bank also had ties to private jails, private police. And our church had our account there. So we wrote to them and said we're withdrawing our money. And we weren't the only ones who did that. So Citizens backed off and closed those accounts.
So this strategy can work.
Yeah.
That's a question. They only care about their wallets.
Yeah, the
So get
bottom
them,
line.
Yeah.
engage them where they care about.
Public shaming.
Yes, yeah.
That's it.
Any other group updates? Fine. No. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get to our featured speaker from Working Families Party, Etel Haxhiaj.
Yes.
Got it pronounced.
Say it for us, please.
Got it.
She did. So I'm trying, it's just remembering it. All right. So Working Families Party, if you're not familiar, believes that no matter where we come from or what our color, most of us want the same things: to earn enough to thrive, not just survive, to leave a better future for our kids, healthy food and clean water, safe neighborhoods, and a safe world. We want to be free. But the richest people on earth and the political insiders who serve them have rigged the rules of our economy and our democracy to grab up wealth and power for themselves. The Working Families Party is regular people coming together across our differences to make a better future for us all. They're a multiracial party that fights for workers over bosses and people over the powerful. We want an America which realizes the promise, unrealized in our history, of freedom and equality for all. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat or use the raise hand function, and they will be answered following Etel's presentation. Etel, do you need to share your slides?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Very, very few.
Yeah, it's all good. Let me stop sharing here.
And while Marissa's doing that, just wanted to introduce quickly myself. I know I met some of you at the Welcome to the Party Lowell event. So it's good to see you and also meet and hear from the rest of you the amazing work that you all are doing. So I joined the Working Families Party as the statewide director of organizing about 2.5 weeks ago. I was one of their endorsed candidates for this last race of the city council. And just a little bit about myself, I am a mom of 2 teenage boys, one of whom I accompanied in a death metal show that he did in Providence yesterday. Quite an interesting experience. I have been I was born and raised in Albania for most of my life. I fled to Greece with my family because of war when we lived as undocumented refugees for 2 years before we made our way to the United States. And I settled in Worcester, where I am now raising my family and where most of my life was dedicated to doing activism and organizing on a variety of issues. I ran for city council in 2019 and I lost, and then I ran again and was able to complete 2 terms. And unfortunately, I lost my election last November for a variety of reasons, one of which being that Worcester saw a huge backlash against progressives, both in the city council and progressives who ran for the first time. So while the state generally moved forward and elected amazing candidates, Worcester took a step back and we lost good races. And so we're hoping that with the Working Families Party on board, we will get back on track. And I'm excited to talk to you all about building something in Lowell. You all have already such a wealth of good organizing happening there. And I can talk a little bit about outside of the just a few slides that I have, but it would love to, and by any means, this is not the last conversation we'll have, but just to share a little bit about what we're doing in Worcester, in New Bedford, hopefully in Springfield, and definitely, hopefully in Lowell. So that's just a little bit about myself, and I will share just a few slides. Let's see. So, like Marissa was saying, Working Families Party, can you see the screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We believe working people should run the state, and not just at the state house, but obviously in every level of government, congressional, at the state house and city councils, school committees, school boards, because as you have seen across Massachusetts, even though we are considered a blue state, we definitely have also seen quite a backlash around progressive people with a working class agenda. Just in general, our theory of change, our power building model revolves around elections. Now, there's groups that do non-electoral work, and that's okay. We need everybody on board. Working Families Party specifically focuses on intervening in elections. Our North Star is our governing power. Unless we have governing power for working people, then we're going to see the same crappy politics in our cities, in our towns, and across the state. Our constituency are multiracial working class people, and our form, or sort of our structure, revolves around a party. When I first heard about Working Families Party, the first question in my mind was, what the heck, how do you build a party in a state? Like, we know we have the Dem Party, and then we have the Republicans, and I don't know about you all, but at least in Worcester, we are extremely disappointed with our Democratic City Committee. They're not helping progressives. In fact, sometimes we had to fight them harder than we had to fight the MAGA Republicans. But the Working Families Party is building a party, and the party is me, it's you, it's all of us. It's basically everyone in our universe that is fighting for a working class families agenda. Here's just a little graph about what a political party is. It's people organizing together to win elections around a platform, and we are governed by clear ideology. The platform is interesting because this was one of the questions that I had when I first was engaging with the Working Families Party is, what is that platform? And later in the slides, you'll see there's a general guarantee that the Massachusetts Working Families Party has put out. I think this is something that we are doing across the states, but it gives you an idea of some general platform issues that I think we can all rally around. And some of us and some of you are already doing that work. The infrastructure is, when I say it's all of us, it's really all of us. It's a voter coalition that mobilizes for elections. Our goal isn't just to organize around elections, is to win elections, is to put people in power, and also not just abandon them when they get to power, when they get there, because they need us as much as we need them. Is activists who are going to be working to mobilize the voters, is leaders who represents voters and chart the course for the party. These are our governing leaders who make up sort of the champions of the party. Data and tech, ideology. We all rally around the ideology that we are a multi-class, multiracial a coalition, and our ideology is making sure that working class people have a say in all the decisions that are being made. Electeds and candidates, obviously, those are the major targets of the party. That's sort of like the major point of the infrastructure, is to win elections and put them there. A brand that distinguishes us from other parties. We're not the Democratic Party, we're not the Republican Party, we're not DSA, but we share some things with, minus the MAGA Republicans, that we can all agree on. But majorly, we want to make sure that we are building an infrastructure that is clear, that is funded with money, and that has a clear brand and ideology. And then I wanted to share this as just a general, as just a general, oh, now I don't know how to go back. Oh, maybe we're here.
Left arrow.
Oh, well, my screen just doesn't want to work, so I am just gonna then just leave this up here and stop sharing. I'll share again.
Yeah.
Let me see. Ah, there's the little button. Just a little bit about how we actually do this, where we do it by winning elections and state by funding state and local champions and getting them elected, building a state house power block. Like I said, unless our champions actually form an effective block, that they are left vulnerable to other forces, leadership telling them what to do, not knowing sort of how to communicate back with the base, with the people that elected them. And so the idea is that we're not just electing people, that we really want to rally around and form a power block. Align working class forces. We talked a little bit about some of the groups that you already mentioned. There are many aligned groups that I think it helps us bring into the fold because we share, maybe we sometimes don't share the same tactics, but we share the same goal and vision. And our last goal is to organize leaders statewide. And by leaders, I mean everyday working people, people who are organizing, people who are in unions, people who are in labor, folks who may have never organized before, but they are as disillusioned as all of us are with the current politics. And this is the part that I think, at least for me, as I'm working in Worcester and New Bedford and Springfield and now Lowell, is the most important part, because unless we get everybody to be on the fold and feel like they have a buy-in into this agenda, then we're going to get stuck with the same activists, the same organizers, which is great, but we definitely need to expand those circles to include other folks. And this is the Massachusetts Family Guarantee that I was talking a little bit about. This is a new agenda for welcoming Massachusetts, where people of all races and backgrounds, including immigrants, are guaranteed in the basics. And you can see on the screen, oh no, I did it again. Now I feel like Britney Spears. It's healthcare you can rely on, childcare whenever and when you need it, great public education, a great job to support your family, safe and welcoming communities, and obviously the questions of how do we make it happen. We have already seen a lot of people who have worked on the Fair Share Amendment, tax the rich, get big money out of politics, and stop corporate greed, which is literally eating us alive in all our cities. And I wanted to pitch in the last thing, which is we are organizing a Lowell Canvas Day for Rep Hong, John Drinkwater, Lorena Betts. That's going to be Sunday, August 30th. These are the folks that have agreed to join us. AFT, UAW Region 9A, Lowell Together, Solidarity Lowell. And that's going to be at Cafe Eclipse at 10 a.m. If you didn't endorse one of these candidates, it's not a problem at all. You can show up for the other two, which I understand that your group has, Lorena Betts and Tara Hong. The campaigns have agreed essentially to provide training. And if you decide that you just want to canvass for two candidates and not another one, that's fine too. The point is that it's likely going to be a GOTV kind of canvass. And Josh, my boss, was a statewide director, myself, and I think Amy have offered to drive people to their canvases, because it's they all have different regions, or in the district, they all have different districts, so the geography might be a little spread out. But I just and Amy and Marissa, if I haven't sent this to you already, I will send you the RSVP list. Where people can sign up. But that's Sunday, August 30th. And let me just stop sharing. So that is a little bit about Lowell. I just want to say, and I'll open up for questions. The work that we are doing right now is focused on 4 areas of the state. We have an organizing committee in Worcester. We just did a joint phone bank for Lorena and Tara this past Thursday. We had about 21 people, Worcester folks, signed up, and we made about 400 calls, which was pretty amazing. And we wanted to do that both in solidarity with the candidates, but also one of my dreams is once we have, hopefully in Lowell, we have a strong organizing committee, and in Springfield, which is up and coming, that all the 4 cities can talk to each other and can be in solidarity with each other. The way that Working Families is working right now, at least in Worcester and New Bedford, is we essentially have a group of an organizing committee. Right now, folks are recruiting candidates. So we have gone through an exercise of trying to figure out how many seats we want to flip we are conscious that we cannot do everything all at once, even though we want to flip the entire city council and the mayor's seat and the school committee. We still are not at that stage where we can conquer them all. So we have to be practical and strategic about which seats we feel we can get some wins and which seats are really important. That's the work that's happening in Worcester. New Bedford has a fantastic group of organizers as well. Just last week, I went there and we were able to narrow down the list of seats that they're going to focus on. And now the nitty-gritty work begins with both structuring the infrastructure, these organizing committees, but also giving people something to do in between elections. Because I don't know about Lowell, but in Worcester, the way it happens is we elect people, and then in between elections, there's organizing that happens around different issues, but there isn't like a coherent structure that people can plug in. And we're hoping that the Working Families Party becomes that kind of structure where people have something to do from election to election, again, with the goal of winning elections, recruiting candidates, and the work is going to be messy. It's very challenging, but I think what I'm excited about is partnering with you all and other allied organizations to start and co-build with you an organizing committee in Lowell. And I'm going to stop there and see if you have any questions.
Quick question for the event on Sunday. Is it drop in or do you need to come at 10?
Yeah, really good question. We'd like people to come in at 10, but that's actually a really good question. So I can ask the campaigns if either myself or somebody else can stay behind, but ideally you would be there at 10.
Okay.
Joe, did you say you have an organizing committee here in Lowell?
No, we're hoping that's hopefully the work that can happen with you all is organizing an organizing committee.
I remember hearing that part of the reason why Working Families is so effective is in New York is because they're able to have mixed party endorsements in primaries. Is there any movement to adopt that system in Massachusetts?
I believe New York has what's called fusion voting.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That's what I meant.
Which we don't have here. And also for Massachusetts, I believe as of now, we're pretty new. Working Families Party started here, I would say last October, and they launched really with the 6 candidates in Worcester and 1 in Lawrence. It's my understanding that right now they're not working to establish a party line yet. But once that's done, I think it will look a little bit different, but we don't have fusion voting here. So right now we're running candidates in the Democratic primary only. And I believe there's another state that has fusion voting. I think that's New Jersey, where that has worked out really well.
Nice.
Can you say a little bit about the history of when Working Families was started and where?
It started in 1998, if I'm not mistaken. It started in New York, which is why the New York chapter there is extremely strong. It was started by Maurice Mitchell, who's our national director. He was a very prominent Black Lives Matter organizer. It was a fusion between organizers and unions. So in New York, the unions play a significant part in sort of like the bigger structure is there's an organizing committee at the state level, which we have in Massachusetts as well. And those are folks from a Progressive Mass, for example, has representatives, activists around the city or around the state, plus unions. But in New York, it was unions and some organizers that came together and played a significant role in building the chapters. We have now chapters in 20 states, and Massachusetts is now the last state that they expanded last year. But the general feel has been that for example, in New Jersey and New York, where they have fusion voting, people can run with the party line, the Working Families Party line. But I don't think they have that kind of structure elsewhere. So typically we run candidates in the Democratic primary. And that's kind of like in a nutshell, the history. But I'm also happy to send more information down the road.
No, thank you, that's fine.
Other questions?
If there are no other questions, and again, I don't occupy your time, but I think one of the things that we have noticed, for example, there is skepticism in cities that I was one of those folks that even before getting endorsed by Working Families Party, I had some skepticism about, yet another group is coming from out of town and they want to tell us what to do. And I think now that I am actually deep into the work. What I like about this model is that yes, the Working Families Party definitely is coming to cities and trying to both co-lead and co-organize with folks. I think what's important and what at least I can speak from my own experience in Worcester, what we craved in Worcester, having an infrastructure, a group that can actually just focus on winning elections. And while there's a ton of groups that do issue-based organizing, they do registration for candidates or for people, which is an important part of the electoral process. I think the magic of Working Families Party is that it can offer both some ideas on how to build an infrastructure in cities so that when we have a slate of candidates that you want to run, you have actual people in your cities who know the candidates, can vet them well. There is still, in Massachusetts at least, there's some questions around, well, how do you vet candidates? How do you know they're going to be Working Family Party candidates? There is a process around there. There's questionnaires, there's questions you can vet. But it's really the people, the local people that do the work. And I see our role as co-building with you and offering things like data analysis, a model to build this infrastructure, which we are piloting in these other cities. And I think what's been exciting about at least how I'm seeing this evolve in Worcester, despite it feeling confusing at first, and by any means, I never claimed that we have all the answers or that the organizing won't get messy. But what I'm seeing crystallizing more and more with conversations with folks is that there is something to be said about being super organized and thoughtful and intentional about winning elections. And even though there isn't a set formula, there are building blocks of campaigns that many candidates don't know how to do. It would be great, for example, if Lowell is able to build an organizing committee that know the folks that are running for office or the folks you want to encourage to run for office are also people that may have never considered themselves as leaders or people who would run for office, working class people that we have in our circles. And so one thing that's been helpful for us in Worcester, now that we are sort of like moving from, okay, now we sort of know what we want to do, what seats we want to flip, and we're having conversation with potential candidates. Now it's actually building an actual infrastructure from a list of master volunteers to who's got the skills to help who. And ideally, what we want to do is right before the election start, this municipal election, deploy these folks to help us win those seats. And that's where I have seen some really big excitement amongst the Worcester and New Bedford folks. And I am happy to do one-on-one with any of you, but also would love to hear your thoughts about how do you all vision something like this happening for Lowell and where I could be supportive and a partner in all of that. Again, not something you can answer now, but just sort of like framing how I would love to partner with you in doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I can say right now that the reason we started Lowell Together as a separate brand was to bring different groups together to find candidates, basically to try to do what you're doing. But we were all volunteers and we're all exhausted and burnt out, and so it didn't work quite as well. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to, but in order to grow, that's the part that we need the help with like outreach and identifying new candidates and that kind of stuff, because we're all, everybody's crazy busy, and it's like we're able to do what we can do, but we can't really do the beyond finding the outreach and all of that stuff yet. So
yeah, no, that's the burnout factor is pretty big everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 years now. It's amazing, but we're all doing what we can. And yeah,
Yeah, and so much of Lowell politics is a boys' club. This used to be a company town up until about the 1950s, I believe, where whatever the corporation or the mills wanted, they got. And even after that, a huge amount of political power is still held by a small number of wealthy landowners, and so much of it is a boys' club. And actually getting leverage within that environment is remarkably difficult.
Yeah. Same themes I hear in New Bedford and Worcester. It's really very similar, your struggles.
Ron, then Joe.
Yes. I've been involved in this since the very beginning, and my parents were involved in this when I was a kid, so a long time. And a consistent thing that we all need to work on this. Every single group, everywhere, no matter what they're working on. We don't have enough people, and the people who've been doing this for 10 years get grayer and older and more tired and burnt out. And we don't, any of us, spend enough of time recruiting and finding more people and training them. It's a endemic problem across the entire resistance.
Yeah, you mean training people in just electoral politics or across the board in organizing activism? You're muted, Marissa.
Could you say that one more time? We just lost the computer. I'm going to try to get it back.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just asking, I heard you say that we don't have enough people trained, and I was just curious if you were thinking like just in electoral politics or just in general around other areas.
We need more activists, period.
Activists,
Doing
yes.
anything and everything. We've only got a small percentage of the population. The counter to money is people. And we've got lots and lots of money in the system, but we don't have nearly as many people as we should.
Yeah, both yes to both of those. Activists in general and canvassers. Yeah, in particular around campaigns.
Yeah. One of the things I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that hopefully an organizing committee of WFP in Lowell and other places will do is provide some resources around training candidates, but also training volunteers. Like, how do you actually lead a phone bank? How do you cut turf? How do you have conversations on the doors? How do you design a palm card? And I'm not saying that the Working Families Party has unlimited resources, because we don't, and it's only 2 of us across the state. But one of the things that I've been wondering too is there's other organizations that have that skill set. I would love to not have to do everything, in-house. We have organizations that do training of candidates, how to run a campaign. Another gap that we have, to your point, identified is that very few people also understand the nitty-gritty, the mechanics of actually winning elections. It's not just turning out people, because one of the research points that WFP did in 2024 is that they ran a model where even if we had turned out more people, without the proper, like, educating and mentoring voters around the candidates, the issues, it would have helped Trump get more voters, because that's the actual work that needs to happen on the doors from election to election. So there's just a lot of that knowledge that very few hold in the campaign world, and I witnessed this firsthand as a candidate. It was hard for me to find a campaign manager and then find somebody that could mentor me through the process, let alone tell me that once I got elected, I would just be like, kind of be fed to the wolves, and without any support, without really understanding how power actually works inside. So I had to figure that all out by myself with very few allies. And those are the things that I'm hoping that we will bring to the table. A lot, again, also resourcing and relying on expertise and knowledge that you already have in your own communities.
So one of the things that I have always been concerned about is the amount of money and time that candidates lose when they're canvassing or when they're actually like trying to win an election. So for instance, when like somebody is running for an election,
Yeah.
they still have a job. You know, they still have to provide for their family and their health insurance. And so my question is does does the family party offer like a stipend for that time that's missed at work in the process of trying to win an election?
The direct answer is no, although it's a extremely good question, because unless you're wealthy or retired, you can't really afford to do this. It takes a lot out of your family. The Working Families Party has what's called an independent expenditure, or a PAC. So that's the other group. There's the coordinating part, which is where me and Josh, the statewide director, live, and then there's the expenditure, or the PAC, which is basically an independent. It's connected to WFP, but doesn't coordinate with the people like me and Josh, and that gives money to candidates who are endorsed. So they do mailers for them. Again, not coordinating with the folks. So there are some financial resources that are done for endorsed candidates through the independent expenditure, which helps a lot actually, because not everybody has, like, it costs us, for example, to run a large race and to do a mailer, almost like $3,000. If you have an organization that can do that for you, that takes care of it. And also, one of the other things that, again, this goes back to the knowledge that people don't always have, or candidates who may not have access to that power network. There's a lot of things that I learned in the course of running a campaign, which is that, unions give money. How the heck do I go to a union if I don't have a relationship with them? Those are the things that you need an organization that, once they put their power around, behind you, you learn all those things. Like, we need to educate our working class candidates who have never done this before, who've been told, nope, you can't run because you're not white, you're not old, you're not retired, for example, right? If you're not those things, you're not in the boys network. Those folks need a lot more access to both networks, access to resources, and access to knowledge. And while the Families Party doesn't give a stipend, like I said, those expenditure committee that we have does provide some financial support. I also don't want to make it sound like you get the endorsement of the Working Families Party and then magically you win, because I'm a prime example of that. I didn't win even though they put some resources behind me. There is a lot that goes into a campaign. There's a lot that goes into running for office for the first time. Not everybody wins the first time. The point is that unless we build a constant infrastructure, something that the Democratic Committee is not doing right now, the Democratic Party in general, our candidates will just sometimes lose and sometimes get discouraged because there isn't a strong infrastructure that can mentor and support them throughout that journey.
Okay, right.
I want to emphasize total agreement with you on that point. This is a room full of people. Every single one of us has backed a really good, talented, progressive candidate and watched it not happen. And one of the things we have all talked about within the various groups we belong to, and I belong to like 24 or 36 groups all over the state in southern New Hampshire, this is a common theme. The Republicans are much better than us at having a built-in, consistent, it lives from campaign to campaign infrastructure of experienced campaign managers, experienced people who know about canvassing, and so they've got all this infrastructure. And when they get a candidate, that candidate can plug into existing infrastructure and get things done. Whereas the Democrats spend a lot of time going and grabbing smart college students and stuff like that, and we burn them out, and we lose them, and then we have to repeat the entire process. So one of the things that I'm seeing happening, not just in the Working Families Party, but across all of what we loosely call the resistance, is the recognition that admittedly we don't have the budget the Republicans have got, but somehow we need to build this experienced class of people who actually know how to get things organized and done. And we don't have our candidates spending most of their time trying to get infrastructure in place. They lose half the time they need to campaign, or that our new candidates who've never been in office don't have anybody to give them advice about how does the state house actually work? How does this being a select committee in this town actually work? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a big thing, and it goes back to we don't have enough people. And so it's the getting more people involved in every level, figuring out how to get people off their couch and helping us is like the biggest thing we've got as a strategic issue.
Yeah, 100%. Can I just say something to your point? The we don't have enough people is so real. In Worcester, for example, and I heard this in New Bedford, there's maybe like 20 people that have done electoral work consistently. And those people sometimes align with us, but sometimes they don't, right? And so we are left with a gap of knowledge, a gap of resources, a gap of training. Unless you're like maybe in the Boston area where you could have more resources or more candidates. Like working cities like ours are not well resourced. And again, the Democratic Party is not coming to us and saying, I'm interested in building with working class people in Worcester. I'm going to pour some resources. And yes, it's difficult to get people. Of course it is. I'm not saying that Working Families Party is going to be coming with their savior mentality and be like, we're going to mobilize 300 people in Lowell. But I think we can do that if we have exciting candidates, if those candidates are prepared to win, and even if they don't win, they're at least prepared to run a second time, and that we build an actual clear infrastructure for how candidates are actually going to win elections.
A very simple, practical, tactical thing that all of us should be doing in the activist thing is looking at the Democratic Party and going, if you want more progressive and new people to get elected, stop charging for a vote builder.
Ooh, amen to that.
Good joke.
Yeah, I
also a piece of crap.
I wanted to be uncharacteristically optimistic. A lot of what Etel has said about other cities, Lowell's kind of in a better spot on some of them. We do not have a hostile Democratic City Committee here. Our LDCC chair was at your event. There are a number of people who can cut turfs here in the city that are aligned on our side, and we are not wholly dependent on a city committee with a group of people with that knowledge who are unfriendly to progressives. So I think we're in a couple of ways we're better off than some of your cities. Even in terms of having this infrastructure that continues on between the campaigns. I mean, I can't say Lowell Together has climbed Mount Everest, but it's something. You know, it's more than just something. It's respectively effective. But boy,
Worcester has a bigger population than we do, and they're behind us on this.
Yes,
right. And so, if we want statewide change, like if we want to really put a muzzle on ice, or a couple of the other things we want, we need 2/3 of the electorate to vote for things to force Healy and I'm forgetting the Attorney General's name, Campbell to do the right thing. Which means we need to not just have it happen in Lowell, it's got to happen in Worcester and in Methuen and on and on and on. And that's tricky. We haven't gotten there yet. And you're sorry.
And you know where else I think we might be had something you said? We have had great candidates for people to get excited about. Tara, Rain is great. Harini and Drinkwater are both. I mean, I don't. Ben Howard. I do not feel that the progressive side in this city is suffering from a lack of talent. Marcos.
Oh, Marcos is amazing.
Yeah. Susie's coming up.
Yeah.
You got good candidates.
What does your city council? What does your city council school committee look like?
Our school committee.
Our city council.
Or city council.
Right now, it's like a 6-5.
Yeah.
Would you say conservative county majority to liberals and progressives? And boy, we got a couple of dynamite potential flips coming up next year.
Yeah.
The problem is it doesn't matter. Our city manager, who's the equivalent of our mayor, is paid more than 10 times as much as any of the city councilors. And so this is an endemic problem that dates back literally decades. You would leave the State House and you get the city manager job here in Lowell, and it was a nice big golden parachute for the end of your career. And our current city manager is a real estate tycoon who votes with Flock and votes with whoever's going to. He's trying to turn the town into something with that it boosts real estate prices.
He's a Trumper. Plus, his cousin is one of the city councilors.
Yeah, he's a dino. He's basically a dino.
And a dino, yeah.
And it's chosen by cronyism.
Instead of real city managers, the city manager, we've had one professional city manager in the last several decades. It's the city manager position in Lowell is the head politician in charge. Comes usually coming from the state legislature. Though, you know, if our candidates win, I don't think their city managers are going to still come from the state legislature.
I know. Fingers crossed.
And I think that
Yeah. No, that's really good to know. And of course, every city I think is so different. But you mentioned that you already have, obviously, your group, Lowell Together, is kind of functioning as it's like a central resource for candidates. And the collaboration and partnership with Working Families Party could look different in Lowell than it does in Worcester, New Bedford, where the gaps are different. I think that none of us can know that unless you start something together. And I would be interested, maybe in a different conversation. I'm happy to also just come there in person, but to try to figure out if there is a model where WFP could have a presence there with you all and be helpful to the goals of whether that's city council, which is mostly our working cities are focused on city council and school committees because the work I think with the state legislature looks a little bit different. But again, I personally don't think a lot of politics across Massachusetts focuses a lot on how conservative city councils are, and that's where a lot of our local decisions get made. School committees or school boards are the same way. So definitely conversation to be had with you all and other folks. I'm happy to do that. Happy to come in person. I think after the primaries, I think my goal is to try to do more of that in person with you all. And if the consensus is that maybe Working Families Party does not need here, or there's elements of it that can be helpful, that's fine too. I think I definitely am not promising anything because I know how skeptical I was in the beginning when they first came to Worcester. And I think that there's huge potential here for us to build a presence in all of our working cities, because I don't know who said this, but I agree with you. Unless we build a base of a massive base of working class people that can apply more pressure to our elected officials, the Maura Healeys and the Campbells of the world will continue, in my view, to be, sometimes make moderate decisions versus bold progressive decisions. And that same goes with the state legislature. So just a conversation that I'm eager to have with you all in person, obviously, and happy to talk to anybody else that you recommend I talk to.
Any other questions before? Okay.
I think I speak for all of us when I say you're needed. Please don't go.
Don't go away.
Okay, I'm not going away.
No, we're all
Bribery.
really
What's your
excited.
favorite bribery? Marissa has new kittens.
I
Do
do.
you like
I have new
adorable
kittens.
kitten
I can
photos?
give you many, many photos, or you
Yeah.
can come meet them. I don't care.
Food. We can
I
say
would.
Makes amazing German stuff.
If you like
but
German
she's-
pastries.
Yeah.
You don't need to bribe me at all. This is one of the joys of doing this work. I was a little daunted by being in this role. But I also think that it's not that any single thing is going to save us or create all the issues, solve all of our problems, especially an organization that's trying to build a party, which in my view takes a really long time and you need to go slow sometimes. All that to say, I am extremely excited if you'll have me to work with you, figure out things together. And if we can have 4 solid working cities that have a strong working class base, I think we could topple some really important and get some good victories in our school committees and school boards across the board.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
We'll be in touch, obviously.
Thank you so much for having me. And Marissa, can I just send you the Mobilize link for the canvas? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
So, so just so you know, that was amazing. Etel and Working Families Party are amazing. We're so excited to be working with them. Our next meeting will be the September meeting, which seems impossible, but okay. It is Sunday, September 7th, 5:30 p.m. 27th. What did I say?
7th.
Oh, maybe I'm getting a migraine. I don't know. September 27th, 5:30 p.m. Hybrid at UCC Dracut, 10 Arlington Street, Dracut, and on Zoom. We do not have a featured speaker currently, but if you have any ideas of who we should feature, please send them on over. Contact at solidaritylowell.com, or Marissa or Amy or Ryan or whoever. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, please mark your calendars for the meeting, and thank you all for coming. Oh yeah, and you can join us online and all these things. Okay, thank you.
We advertise this drug and now all the